Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about having the 8th and 9th house duplicated in a natal chart. Now, duplications in houses are when you have the same sign on the houses, and they will be on consecutive house cusps. So, anyway, when someone has duplication in their chart, those houses, the nature of those houses, the qualities of the houses can be very strongly integrated and amalgamated and may work very well together. Now, the 8th and the 9th house, if somebody has the same sign on those two houses, well, that could be somebody that goes through transformation, regeneration, a rebirth, perhaps in their philosophies. This could be somebody whose philosophical outlook and sex could be very strongly tied into each other. This could be someone who has a strong transformation or change in connection with perhaps religion, maybe things associated with long-distance traveling, higher education. It could be somebody who brings their philosophical nature, so to speak, into the bedroom with them as far as sex goes. It could be somebody that has the 8th and 9th house in the same sign. Could be a person who's perhaps their in-laws. Maybe there's a transformation in connection with the in-laws, or maybe the in-laws inspire them to go through some change to some degree, whether it's their outlook or whatever it might be. This could be a person who maybe goes through a change or transformation connection with abstract thinking. A person whose 8th house is connected with others' resources and shared resources, so maybe there's a change in the philosophy at some point in time with this. As far as this goes, perhaps a sexual partner has something to do with a philosophical, their philosophy on life. Their 9th house is higher education, and we look at the 8th house. We could correspond that with Pluto and Scorpio. So perhaps maybe things in higher education might be associated with astrology, occult, supernatural subjects, things connected with mystery, forensics, investigation. So those are some things you could look for if somebody has the 8th and the 9th house in the same sign in their natal horoscope. Well, and a lot of this could be flavored with a particular sign that is on the 8th and 9th house cusp. Well, let's say, for example, that somebody was to have Capricorn on the cusp of the 8th and the 9th house. Well, this could be a person who may transform their philosophies, perhaps in a very serious way, in being maybe very cautious, prudent in the process. The 8th and the 9th house with Capricorn on it will show that the Capricorn characteristics and attributes will be strongly emphasized in these houses. So the 8th, having the same sign on the 8th and the 9th house description would apply, but by flavoring Capricorn, it would could give a very strong conservative and orthodox manner in connection with this. If, let's say, that the person maybe goes through some change, perhaps due to their in-laws, it could be done in a very systematic and methodical and cautious manner. Capricorn is a sign that is about organization, about being methodical, about doing things like one step at a time, because it is an earth sign. And in this particular example, these things, these changes or transformations that this person might have, perhaps in connection with higher learning, with maybe in-laws, even things. 9th house is also connected with publishing, so this could be somebody that perhaps they go through some change, perhaps from something that they published, and maybe something that they publish and that they look at and read strongly later on, for example, could lead to some kind of inspiration to make a major change or transformation in life. But this could be done with it, in this example with Capricorn here, could be done in a very careful, assiduous, and prudent manner. So that is some things to look at when you look at somebody that has the same sign on those two house cusps. Now, if we take another sign, for example, and we were to put, say, Aquarius on the 8th and 9th house cusp, well, this would emphasize the perhaps the almost the opposite of Capricorn in terms of being orthodox, because Aquarius is known to be ingenious, unconventional, original, innovative, and those qualities would be flavoring that 8th and 9th house. So that's something to look at. And remember too that when you have the same sign on two houses, that means you're going to have a pair of intercepted houses. So let's say in my example before with Capricorn on the 8th and 9th, let's say that the person had the 11th house intercepted and Aries was in it. Well, perhaps by looking at the Capricorn attributes and qualities, by being conservative, cautious, prudent, showing premeditation, perhaps and being very organized, using these qualities, perhaps that could be a way out to extricate oneself from problems which would be associated with having the 11th house intercepted. Now, if the 11th house intercepted, the person may have some difficulties associated with goals, aspirations, friends, acquaintances, organizations, clubs, perhaps even things connected with social, with networking. And what the Capricorn qualities and tendencies may help extricate the person from these problems associated with the 11th house, but also perhaps by using those 8th and 9th houses strongly as well, and going through that change, that metamorphosis, perhaps in connection with publishing. Perhaps this leads to greater happiness, maybe meeting the acquaintances, the friends that could really provide happiness for this particular person. So that is something, and also it would provide maybe an idea of maybe helping this person find what their aspirations are. Maybe this person would be meant to write and publish books, for example. So that could be something to look at as far as my example that I gave you. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for having the 8th and 9th house duplicated in the natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about having the 9th and 10th house duplicated in the natal horoscope. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because a person astrologically is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.